start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Brooke, if you'll start with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Case?
Yep.
Commissioner Garvelia? Here. Commissioner Cochran?
Present.
Commissioner Story? Present. Mayor Messersohn?
I'm here. Reading approval of minutes.
No changes, no edits from the single regular scheduled meeting on June 24th. Make a motion to approve those as presented.
Commissioner Case?
Yep.
Commissioner Garvelia? Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story? Yes. Mayor Messersohn?
Yes. Ms. Garavani, Public Properties Report.
I don't have anything tonight, no, bills or purchase orders or anything, just worked on a few things, checking into the ductwork in this building to see if they're about getting it,
Good.
and just, few minor things around.
Okay. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good, awesome. We've even talked about that here at City Hall. We're finding a common theme. And so having the ductwork look at, it's not a bad
I
idea.
know,
That's
and,
good.
person that I called the RSP, I called them and they recommended someone, an assessor, and, so anyways, they came today, so
Good.
follow up with that.
Good, can't wait to hear. Thank you, thank you. Streets Budget Improvements. Mr. Cochran.
Have, purchase orders tonight, have three in the street department. One for Key Equipment Supply Company for solenoid valves, $686.80. I make a motion to approve those.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story? Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
The next is some energy culvert, some piping we needed, $2,850. Make a motion to approve that.
Commissioner Case? Commissioner Garvelia? Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Another from Energy Culvert, for drainage tiles, $4,129.32. Make a motion to approve that.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Okay, we have pool adjustments. We have three to be approved. Actually, I'm sorry, four. We have Bayless, Thomas, Milligan, and Atchison to be approved for pool adjustments. Make a motion to approve those.
A second.
Commissioner Case?
Pass.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Do I need,
Yes, yeah, we need to make a motion in a second on this, on the last one.
I need to, make motion to deny one for Zettler, did not meet the requirements, so I'll make that motion.
A second.
Commissioner Case?
Pass.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story? Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is we have the, agreement for our planned maintenance agreement with Cummins for a generator for a wastewater treatment plant. I think it's in your packet there, something we do every year. About $1,047.11. Make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes,
Commissioner Story? Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
and that's all I have, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Public Health and Safety.
I don't have anything.
What was enacted lately on both sides of
Well, they have
the office, so
Interstate spill.
Interstate.
I know there's a lot going on, so.
And then they had somebody run into the building and the insurance come down to your house.
Mhm. Good enough for me. Accounts and Finance, please.
I have one payroll dated for the 5th of July, totaling $97,738 even, with $75,718.38 out of the general fund and $22,019.60 62 cents out of the water and sewer revenue fund, and make a motion to approve that as presented.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia? Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Nothing for item B tonight. Item C, just a thing, our agreement with BCHS, with the school resource officer, has expired. We've been operating on the previous agreement. I've talked to Christine and Chris about collecting rates, seeing what the hours of work. We're gonna have to whether it's the same in the exact copy with new dates, or whether there are changes to it, regardless, we will have to have a new agreement. So we are working on that. That's just an update right now, no action, because we don't have anything in place. But also to make sure that kind of like the city gets protected. Our most senior patrolman is the school resource officer of the high school, so he's our most expensive officer. So we want to make sure that, that we aren't being shorted on that end. And in retrospect, if, there were to be a change and that officer were to go back out, or we were putting another officer in there, we also don't want the high school on the hook for some very large amount of money when we don't have that most senior patrolman in there. So trying to find an agreement that kind of fits all of those boxes. That way there's no, duplication of services can be a thing, and double taxing of the taxpayers can be a thing with that as well. So just cleaning it up a little bit, but we will have a new one probably before school begins in August. So that's just a small update from my office, and that's all I've got for tonight.
Thank you. And that's something that's worth looking at across the board. It makes a lot of sense.
And it protects both parties, and it's the same with the grade school. And this grade school's agreement is that we will do the exact same thing, making carbon copies. That way, if we want an SRO in there, and the SRO wants to take 2 weeks off, we want to make sure that we're billing them appropriately and they're getting what they're paying for, and all of that. I don't know why they need a hall monitor, but that's a conversation for a different.
That's another board meeting.
A different meeting. So that's all I got tonight.
All right, very good. Anything from city attorney, any updates? Okay, under public affair updates, 4th of July is come and gone, and I do want to say thanks to the cheerleaders. Every year they come out, and I saw the fire department taking the flags down today. That makes a big difference
I
in
didn't
town.
know they were doing that.
They do it all.
Yeah, anytime the flags go out, it's usually the cheerleaders, and the flags go up, it's usually our fire department takes care of
I
that.
did not know.
They put the
that.
new one out at Twin Oaks, they put the buntings up, and so they really have the talent nice, so
Good.
I appreciate them doing that. Under other public affair items, no purchase orders, but we do have to officially appoint Mr. Dougherty as our treasurer, as Lisa's time comes to a close. We need to appoint him to a couple of different boards in addition to treasurer. So we need a first, and obviously everybody knows Mr. John, he's been here since May. He's been baptized by fire, and I know he's stepping in and getting a lot done quickly, so hopefully.
I'll let you finish.
I was gonna say, is there anything from our finance commissioner, is what I was gonna say.
Trust me, if there was, you would have already heard about it, so.
So,
For me to be pretty mum thus far is.
we're doing okay then?
We're doing fine.
Okay, good, excellent, well, with that, we need to officially appoint you, since you passed the test.
I'd like to make the motion to appoint John Dougherty as treasurer.
I second it.
Go ahead, Jackie.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messerschmidt.
Yes. And then under item D, we need to appoint him to a couple of boards here. You'll see the two separate motions, one to police pension and one to fire pension. So we need a first and a second.
I'll make a motion to appoint John Dougherty to the police pension board.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messerschmidt.
Yes, then we need to do the same for the fire pension.
I'll make that motion as well for the fire pension.
I second it.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Messerschmidt.
Yes, this officially moves John into the driver's seat. He will be signing tomorrow to be able to sign checks. And so you're officially on the roll as our treasurer, so welcome.
Glad on board, John.
Thanks, guys.
Looking forward to many years. Under item F, this is one that we've come back and forth a bunch on, and I've done a bunch of work on the last year, and I've had individual conversations with many of you. The end result of all the conversations and all the work is the interchange project as it's been designed, as it's been proposed, as it's been estimated. At this point in this stage for the city of Benton, doesn't make sense. And so we need to officially suspend that project for now, so that we can kind of rechannel our energies and our finances in other places. And so, as a council, we need to make that decision, so any questions or discussions before we do that? We just need a first, second, a motion.
I'll make a motion to suspend.
I was almost unanimous.
I'm way down to say, I was hoping there was a discussion, cause I was like, I make a motion to suspend that project.
We just need a second out of that one then?
Don second.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
Overwhelmingly, yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Garvelia? Yes. Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn?
Yes. So what this is going to do is, I still believe we have space for a second interchange, which we already have property inside corporate limits, out by the winery, out of 154, and so, again, with all of you, have had the same conversation about transitioning our time and our energy and resources there. And under item G, well, we'll drop down this item. Can I go ahead and do item F, and then we'll come back to G? Under item H, it says discussion and approval of the agreement between the City of Benton and Retail Strategies for consulting services and retail data. This includes Brian Calcaterra as an Economic Development Director. There's an organization that can help us shorten the timeline and the gap between us finding out businesses and learning about businesses and bringing in new businesses. And as we specifically think about 154 corridor and what that looks like, this company comes in and helps you assess. They'll train him for a better part of a year and help him with the tools and resources to be able to do business acquisition, business development, and bring that business into Benton. And it's a one-time $25,000 price tag. What's nice is, we saved about $330,000 on our interchange project. So I'm just asking the council to reallocate some of those funds towards this as the beginning of really bringing us a business. The interchange, I think we would see in 10 years, it look just like now. I believe in the next 4 to 5 years with this strategy, we could actually see some business located there.
I had a meeting with Brian and a representative from the Retail Academy, from Retail Strategies. This was a contact made at IML.
Correct.
And they work with a lot of communities, a lot of communities roughly our size. The one thing that this is a little bit different from what they normally do is usually they collect all of this data and then they provide the analysis as they go. We're still getting that, and with the exception of, we're going to pay an additional fee to send Brian through the training as well. Now, when we have a prospective, developer, business, anything like that, who wants to locate within our municipal limits, when they call City Hall, Brian will be able to handle it. And not only will Brian be able to be the intermediary and the middleman for it, he will actually have the data and the tools to read the data that they give us and have those conversations without having to farm it out. I think it's a really good look professionally, where nothing against anybody who sits at this table, but we're elected every 4 years, so there could be a revolving door. It says something when we have someone on our professional staff that can answer these questions and get back to these people immediately. The data, we would most likely be doing anyway with the suspension of the 57 exchange at Petroff.
Yes.
The data is $15,000 of this price. So we're essentially paying, we want the data regardless. We need to know what our demographic is, what we're trying to hit, what our leak is, what our loss is. So by doing that, we're just essentially paying an additional $10,000 for the training for Brian to be able to read that and be that intermediary. It's not in the budget, which at some point will require an amendment to it, because I think this is a big enough expense that I would like to amend it. But we have funds to pay for it, not even out of that side with the grant funds. We could go through our interest income.
Okay.
Because interest income is just capturing extra money because we've got cash on hand and some funds, as well as our video gaming revenue. I just got the printout this afternoon when I got here, and we have the funds within our interest income and video gaming without even really drawing away from what we had them budgeted for.
Okay.
We are in excess of that currently.
Okay.
What is the video gaming?
The video gaming tax, we budgeted $200,000 for video gaming tax this year, and through 2 full months, we are at 46,384. We're essentially 50% ahead on there. Interest income, we budgeted low because your interest income is based on what the Federal Reserve's doing. We keep hearing rate cuts, no rate cuts, anything like that, so we wanted to be conservative on it. So that's just kind of extra recaptured money. I think this is a really good use of that money because every single department in the city will benefit with new business coming in.
Right.
So I think, I sat through this meeting and we used every single second of our time, in that meeting. And I felt good about it. We're never gonna be in Marion or Mount Vernon. We lack 2 interstates. That's one thing that they have, that was a conversation we had at lunch today. Having 2 interstates is huge. But we can still bring in retail, we can bring in service sector jobs, retail occupation, water revenue, we can do all of that. I think this is a good move for us. I look at it as, we send our officers, our firefighters and police officers through the academy and additional training. Zoning and economic development should be no different because we need to be able to know what we're talking about when we're trying to lure some of these companies in. So, if you don't have anything else.
No, I was just
to
gonna say, well said, yeah.
I would like to
That's
make a
exactly what we
motion
talked
to
about.
approve item 9H of sending our economic and zoning development coordinator to the retail factory for a cost of $45,000.
Second.
Commissioner Clayton?
Yes.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story? Mayor Massersohn?
Yes. And then we're gonna move back up to item 9G, which is discussion approve petition to vacate an alley, and that I will have Mr. Calcaterra help us with.
Okay, yeah, it's actually a street, this is,
Rob Drive, sorry,
no, you're fine.
yes.
This is out at Lake Benton, and so, Mr. Dare, Richard Dare, who has a lease with the city on property out there, came in with a picture of a map, and, one of the things that he said the county needed in order to be able to build on this property was a vacation of the street out there, and so I looked at it, and it looks funny, but the issue is that a street was platted out there probably 100 years ago when they originally, drew out the plat of the lake. They never built the street, so the right of way is there, and then once they platted it, it became public right of way, where we could go in and build a street there if we wanted to, but, there's been residential development out there. And so, by vacating the street, the city actually retains ownership of the property. It would just be used as leasehold property under the terms of the lease by calling it Lot 108B in Lake Benton Park. So we're essentially vacating public land. It's already public, but it's part of a subdivided lot.
Okay.
So that's kind of a strange way to do a vacation, but the actual less, the people who are in this lease wouldn't gain any property. It's still retained by the city of Benton, but instead of a street right of way, it becomes lake lot lease property.
What is your recommendation on this?
My recommendation would definitely be to vacate this, that way we can fix the legal description, because we actually have a meets and bounds description that was done by a survey in the 90s. And so what I've been able to do is, if you look at your petition, what we were calling it Lot 108B in Lake Benton Public Park can now be used with this description that describes it meets and bounds, and then says also known as Lot 108B. So now in the future, our leases will have this description, and we'll never have to worry about what is Lot 108B.
Are there any cons to this at all? Any downside that you can foresee?
The only
for us?
thing is that we would then not be able to ever complete that street through there like they envisioned 100 years ago.
Commissioner Cochran, have you ever thought there would be a street there?
I didn't think it would be.
This is on the very north end of the lake
Yeah.
where it curves
Uh-huh.
on, instead of curving around back towards and the thing is that the plat doesn't even go across to 37, it just stops right there, so it's a dead end essentially.
You see no reason not to.
There's no reason, it's
It would
a
retain
non-existent
ownership
dead
as well.
end.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
just becomes lot lease property.
Yes, which it already is, they're using it
Okay, yeah,
as lake lot lease property.
so then, if you're suggesting the council approve it, we just need a first and a second.
I'll make a
Make a
motion
motion, yeah.
to vacate, to approve the petition to vacate for Lot 108B.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garavilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story?
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn?
Yes. Alright, anything under miscellaneous business? Old business?
Just a quick update, still waiting on results of the audit. The audit has, concluded. One thing that may be, we'll have to have a discussion, it sounds like the way government accounting standards are changing, we will see a lot more purchase orders in our future. It sounds like the auditors would very much want a paper trail for virtually everything. So that nice, long-spirited discussion we had about 8 weeks ago will be back, but there won't be nearly as much discussion, even as far as standard agreements that we have. Ameren, at the beginning of the fiscal year, basically approve a purchase order for electricity and for legal counsel and for virtually every single contract we enter into. Sounds like that's what they're wanting to move to, and if that's the recommendation of the auditors, we will absolutely abide by that and move towards that. That's pretty much all we can do, and then one thing, we are updating our fixed asset policy, so all the department heads have been informed. We will send an email July 1 to have everything turned in by the 1st of August. That gives them plenty of time to get it done, and they get to check against what our list already is. So they're just adding new things, and then they will do inventory in that time as well. We've not done inventory in God knows how long, so we're fixing that as well, with just a couple of small updates from my office.
Any new business? Any matters from the public? Alright, we just need a motion to adjourn then.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Garavilla? Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Story? Mayor Massersohn?
Yes. Thank you all. John, welcome.
Congratulations.
Now you're on the hook.